messages or warnings to air immediately when they're issued. Keep yourself and your family safe by tuning into the WHOW platforms on AM, FM, or streamed online, as well as on WEZC 95.9 FM.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools. Dr. Tresnak, good to see you. How are you?
Morning. Thanks for having me. Doing
Sure.
great.
Good to hear.
We'll overlook the Oregon Ducks shirt there. I'm a Purdue alum. So,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
a little Big Ten thing here, but you guys have a football
I didn't know you were a
team.
Purdue alum.
Well, you have a football team. We kind of have a football team. We'll look at basketball.
Yeah, your basketball's going to be their thing this
Yeah.
year. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know you were a Purdue guy.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Back in the day, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, that's still it's tradition over there for sure to have good basketball. Hey, I'll tell you what, we were talking last time you were in, Dr. Tresnak. You had a job fair back in late October. Sounds like a really good turnout and well received. Tell us about this.
Well, it started, we had great weather. So we had aspects of it outside and inside. So we had the gym space with tables set up, but then outside we had a bunch of things like Ameren was there. We had different companies. We had one that had like an engine that they were taking apart, and they were letting the kids come and actually take it apart and put it back together. We had another one that was doing some roofing stuff that they were showing. We had the ambulance there. The DNR was there showing off their stuff. But basically our focus was the trades. Our focus was, what could kids coming out of high school really jump right into and find some employment. That was really the drive of this. We still had connections to the junior colleges and that, but really well received. Had a lot of vendors there. The vendors were excited about it. We had kids coming in, obviously from DeLand Weldon, but Monticello was there, BMed, Sarah Gordo, Argent Oriana, and Moreau Forsyth. So we had a lot of kids there. And I think the vendors like that gave them access to multiple communities. We had some vendors from Public Works in Decatur there. And so it was really a good day. Want a little bit of a shout out to the staff with, Matt Goldman was the principal and our high school teaching staff. We have a great picture on the website of them, just the hard work they did to make this happen. We also ran into some issues. We thought we had our lunches paid for by a company, and that fell through. We reached out to Constellation Energy, and they immediately jumped in, says, yes, we want to be part of this. And they took care of feeding everyone for the day. Just real excited to get them involved. And they were there. They had a table too. So
it's really cool, the aspect of kids getting like a hands-on opportunity with some of these companies.
So literally Ameren, for instance, was there with one of their line trucks, and also had one of their gas trucks there. And they weren't having the kids do this, but they were going up and down a pole, showing them, just that aspect of the job. Because, I think he talked to an Ameren, Cornbelt, or whoever. I mean, they know that they have a need because one time they told me to train up a lineman is a 10-year job to get them really trained up on everything that they need to know to be in that. Well, they got a lot of guys that are going to be retiring probably soon, and they're needing to fill those slots.
Well, and you think about even, guys that may be 10 years from retirement,
Sure.
You're going to need to fill those in the next decade.
And you got to get kids trained up with those people who actually been around the block.
Sure. So great opportunity. You going to do it again next year?
Yeah. So this was our second year.
Oh, okay.
And
Sure.
we
I didn't
already
realize
set the date. It's going to be that same Friday in October. We've already let that be known to the vendors and to the schools. We're hoping to get a few more schools involved. We'll put those invitations out. But again, it was really a good day. It was a great day, and we're really excited about what we're able to do. I encourage people to go up on our website. We're on Facebook. We posted probably 500 or 600 pictures from the event. You can kind of get a real flavor of what was going on if you want to look at those pictures.
Sure. Very good. So check that out. Again, Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools, my guest in studio this morning. You got a board meeting tonight, Mr. Tresnak. What are you looking at?
We have the auditor coming. some people get scared. Oh no, the auditor's coming. I don't. We always like talking with the auditor because it helps us make sure we're doing everything right. And so we're going to have our audit report tonight. I've already met with the auditor previous to the meeting. We've gone through a few things to make sure we have the things the way we need to do it, but it's always good to have that. It helps with that transparency. So everyone can see what's called an annual financial report. That will be posted out to the website once it's approved and all that. And people can see what our financial health is and how we're spending our money. And it's all pretty much right there. And what the auditor does is says you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. And so it's an really important part of the year to have these conversations. And then,
so does the board have to approve anything with that, or?
By law, no, but I still put it on that I like them to approve or accept the AFR because at the end of the day, it's the auditor's report. Really, the board cannot do anything to that report. The report is what it is, but I still think it's very important that we have action within the board meeting saying, hey, we have looked at this, we have talked to the auditor, and we're basically accepting this report.
Got it. Anything else on the agenda tonight?
Not much other things, just some discussion items of, just bookkeeping things that we need to go through. We're going to probably approve the calendar tonight for next year.
Okay.
We try to do that early on here in that October, November, so that our families know a year out what we're looking at. Because everyone's like, where's going to be spring break? When are you going to get out? And we're probably going to back the school year up a week, or back it up, not move it up, but back it up a week. It's just that time for us to do that.
I remember you were in school a week ahead of a lot of places this year. So
yeah, it's time that we do that. Where Memorial Day lands, it's really late next year. So it's just the perfect time. We still think we can get done by Memorial Day. Which is one of our goals, but we did try to back it up a little bit.
Got it. When it comes to Dr. Tresnak, you talked about the audit and the financial status of the district. That goes into the school report card, correct? A lot of that, or not a lot of that, but some of that. Yeah.
Some of it. So, I mean, right now, what I'm seeing in the audit is we are at recognition status like we have been, which is right. We're really happy with that. Our finances are strong. We've talked about, we have wind farm money that's going to be coming in next summer through the levy. So our financial standing is really good for a district that size. But the local residents have been very supportive of that school district. And so we're hoping as we are moving forward, and especially with the wind farm, we can do some work on the levy where we can capture those funds, but at the same token, maybe try to lessen the load on our local taxpayers. So try to get a win-win there.
Sure.
So, I mean, we have a tentative levy out there that people can see. We'll be approving that one in December.
Okay. Well, I if it's all right with you, do you mind if we, and you don't have to know everything to the T, but the school report card, do you want to dive into that at all and talk about that?
I actually have not read through much of it yet.
Oh, okay.
We're kind of unique because of our small size. Sometimes some of the data points don't come up on the report card because our groups are too small for the testing. But overall, we are recognition status there too. Okay. So we're happy with that. I was just in a meeting last week with the state. There are a number of changes that are coming down for next year as to how schools are going to be rated. There's some things that they're trying to clean up. So it'll be interesting. I tell everyone to kind of pay attention to that because it is going to be different next year, how they're doing that. And it's going to be interesting.
Well, and I tell you what, with such a small district, the disparity, I venture a guess, one year to the next is probably pretty significant. If you have one or two kids that, whether they test well or they don't test well, that could really, there could be some big jumps in some of your data points, right?
And that's where, and I'll get on my soapbox here a little bit. We'll just,
you're fine. Go right ahead.
Stop me if you want.
No, whatever. Go right ahead.
I really do not like how we sometimes assess our kids, because we'll do a snapshot of let's say the junior class, or a snapshot of the 8th grade.
Mhm.
And then the next year we snapshot that 8th grade and we compare one 8th grade against another. And that's not apples to apples. That's not oranges to oranges.
Mhm.
I want to look at individual kids as how they're growing from pre-K all the way up to the senior.
Mhm.
And are we making them so when they graduate able to be successful parts of society?
Mhm.
And I don't think we have a good data point for doing that.
Mhm.
And there might be people at the state level that disagree with me, which is fine. I've been in this business for over 30 years,
Mhm.
so my opinions are built on all of that. And I just don't think we assess our kids right.
Mhm.
We're not, and this looking from year to year, well, how did your junior class do, is not comparing the right things.
Mhm.
We need to look at, is a kid growing? Are we getting a kid to his full potential?
Mhm.
And I'd argue we've missed the boat on that.
Mhm.
And that is why we did a career fair. That is why we started the ag program a
Mhm.
year ago.
Mhm.
It's why we put money into our family consumer science. It's why we look at more dual credit. We're trying to give as many opportunity to kids for them to find their path, so that when they graduate from DeLand Weldon,
Mhm.
they can be successful parts of society. That's what we want. We want kids that can get good paying jobs that can then come back to the community and support the community.
Mhm.
We don't assess that.
Right. Well, and on that note, I know some districts do like their own assessments, if you
Mhm.
will. Does DeLand Weldon do anything like that?
We do some internal assessments that more are looking at student growth and trying to figure out where we can then drill down and figure out what we need to do to help individual students
Yeah.
to see how they're growing. So if they're not growing in the pace that we think they should, then we can work with them individually if we need to. And that's one of the huge advantages of a small district. We can do a lot more individualized one-on-one help to kids just because we have the capacity to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I, it in a smaller district like DeLand Weldon, it's probably easier to keep track of an individual student, whereas,
is.
A bigger district like Champaign, Springfield, Bloomington, it's probably hard to keep track of each individual student and their growth. Or am I wrong on that?
No, you are absolutely correct on that. We know our kids. And we know our families, and so when you see a kid, a lot of them are starting pre-K with us, and as they're going through, we can see, okay, this kid's been growing. Oh, wait a minute, why did they just stop growing academically? What's going on? And we can start digging into that and working with the kid, working with the family, and figuring out what we need to do to help this kid to continue to grow.
Do you have good family support?
Really good family support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They like that there's good communication and there is a kind of a family atmosphere within that organization.
You talked about the report card changing next year. Do you know what some of those changes are at this point?
It's going to be, so there's a wide gap in what they call what's recognition. And it's like about 70% of all schools in the state are in that. And they're going to break that up into multiple things and to try to give a little bit more definition. And they're going to be looking at multiple different indicators. So
yeah, well, and I know in talking with your peers, one of the things they bring up is this comparing district to district, where every district is different. The students are all different. The dynamics of each district are different. They don't like the idea of comparing a district to districts to one another.
And I agree with that. And again, our focus, we've done strategic planning there. Our focus is our kids. What do our kids need? And you know what? Sometimes what our kids need is not what maybe the state says our kids need. And we might be in disagreement with them, but at the end of the day, because we have an extremely supportive school board, we have extremely supportive families within that community. We're looking at what's best for our kids. And again, that's why we brought ag back. That's why we've done the investments we've done. That's why we now have wrestling. We haven't had wrestling. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
We looked it up. We think last time there was wrestling in DeLand Weldon was in the 60s.
Really?
We brought it back.
Yeah.
We're hosting it. We have kids from Blue Ridge coming in and from BMET and Cerro Gordo. And I was meeting with the principal this morning. He says, here, I have a list to show you. And it was a list of all of our wrestlers. He says, I think we can cover every weight class in the first year. And you know what,
There's a lot of weight classes.
And he says, we can cover everything. I said, that's wonderful. That's exciting. And so it's exciting to see that we're giving this opportunity to the kids. We're nimble enough that we were able to make some changes and some adjustments and provide this opportunity.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, let's talk more about that on the other side of the break, if that's okay. Sure. Yeah. Dr. Michael Tresnak, superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools, in studio with us. More to come with Dr. Tresnak on the morning show.
WHOW.
FarmWeekNow.com.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Steady trade with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat at this hour. December corn up a penny, 4.33. March corn up 3/4, 4.47 3/4. May corn 4.55 3/4, down 1/4. November beans down 2.5, 11.10 3/4. January beans down 2 3/4, 11.24 March beans 11.35 down 2.5. December wheat down 2.5, 5.33 March wheat down 2 3/4, 5.49. December bean meal 315.80, that's down $1.10. And December bean oil 50.57, down 53 cents. Livestock trade, November feeders down 30 cents, 337.37. December live cattle down 55 cents, 226.65. December lean hogs 81.80, down 55 cents. Energy market, December crude oil 59.27, down $1.77.
This is Seth Lawrence, News and Program Director for WHOW and WEZC. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
There are several sites in town you could drive around that may have some potential. So we're just trying to narrow down.
Obviously, they just copied that decommissioning plant in one of Muhammad. And I'm assuming it's the same size. The one in Muhammad is coming up with the same figures.
They tell you how to make a smart house with things that turn off and on if you can't really turn a light bulb button or a switch. And, it's just amazing. So
you hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on your easy choice for soft hits, 95.9 FM WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning, Dr. Michael Tresnak, superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools. And Dr. Tresnak, you mentioned the wrestling program getting back going in DeLand Weldon. You're co-oping with BMET Cerro Gordo as well. Speak to just kind of getting this program back. When did you make this decision, and what went into getting it going again?
Well, Blue Ridge is in with it too. Actually, that's where we started. Last spring, we had a meeting with Blue Ridge, just looking at all of our co-ops, and it kind of got thrown on the tables like there'd be an interest in doing wrestling, and because neither of us had it, and there was, and I said, well, we have the facilities for it. We will look into it, and it just went from there. And then I ran into a meeting with I was at a meeting with the superintendents from both Cerro Gordo and from BMET, and we started talking, and it's like, well, we'd be interested in coming in. We got some kids that have some interest. Said, well, come on in. We're and so it just kind of grew. Our coach, the head coach, is also Deputy Ernst, who is from the Piatt County Sheriff. He is our student resource officer.
Oh, really?
So our student resource officer there on site is actually our wrestling coach.
Okay.
It really is a great connection to have that. He has a extensive wrestling background. And, it's just to enable a police officer to have that type of relationship with the kids as a coach, I think is wonderful. And so, we've jumped all over that. We have one of our math teachers, Kayla Voss. She's the assistant coach. We have both males and females on the team.
Oh, wow. Great.
So as you know, in IHSA in the state of Illinois, there's both a boys and a girls state series. So we're going to be able to participate with that. And
That's
again, we're
fantastic.
excited for this opportunity for these kids, and really hope it keeps continuing to grow.
Besides
again, to give them
a
that
gym,
opportunity.
do you need more in the way of facilities?
We actually took our weight room. Our weight room is used to be the swimming pool before they filled it in years and years ago. So there was a lot of space in there. So we kind of renovated that this summer, it got new weight equipment on and moved that to one side. And there was enough room that we could put mats in to the weight room. And that's our wrestling room now. And then it's
wrestling season's right around the corner, is it
well,
not?
they started Monday.
Yeah.
They started practice Monday. Some of them have, I think, tournaments even starting the end of November. But, we're looking at, we have a full schedule. We're going to host our first meet. We have a team coming in. We're going to do a JV meet, but we're excited. We're going to have a home meet. And then, I want to thank a lot of the local schools. When we reached out to them about getting into some of their tournaments, they were great about that. I think we're in at Clinton, Monticello. I think we're at Muhammad Seymour. All those. It's just been really a good group out there working with us so that we could get a full schedule for our kids.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. That's great. That's fantastic. Look forward to that. Dr. Tresnak, I've got about 2 minutes, give or take here. Anything else keeping you busy or on your mind this morning?
It's been a great year. It's hard to believe that it's November 12th, and
Oh, remind me, please.
So I'm
It's
sure
my youngest birthday today, so
okay.
yeah.
I'm sure you've gotten all your shopping done for Christmas already.
Oh,
that's
please.
coming down the line. But and that for us is for schools, it gets really busy. It's when we'll start getting out there with our concerts. We'll have our Christmas concerts and things like that. And
Does your semester end before the break?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, we'll start that. We'll finish up in December. We'll have 2 full weeks off, December into January for our winter break. But before you know it, it's going to be here. And then you're looking at your calendar there where Thanksgiving falls. Thanksgiving's kind of as late as it can be this year. So you're going to have that, and then you're going to come back to maybe only 2 or 3 weeks, and you're done. I mean, it's just, and if you look
Years
at it
flown
now,
by.
Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. I mean, it's just crazy how fast things are going for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So how about your fall activities? How'd your fall activities turn out?
Good. We finished up, volleyball had a good season. So yeah, it went really well.
Do you have a lot of opportunities with junior high, like the sports and stuff?
So between, we have some of our own, and we have some that we co-op with Blue Ridge, but sure, we have volleyball, we have basketball, baseball, softball opportunities for our kids.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, Dr. Tresnak, where do folks go to learn about all things DeLand Weldon Schools?
www.dwschools.org, or we're also on Facebook, just like WHOW is on Facebook.
I can't believe, you talk about the end of the semester. We're going to be chatting in December, and we're going to be right up against it. So, yep, the year is moving right along. Dr. Michael Tresnak, good to see you, sir. Thanks for making time for us. He is the superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools, our guest in studio here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Tresnak mentioned WHOW is on Facebook, that you can catch his interview and all our others there as well. You can also catch us on YouTube, WHOW TV, and see highlights and clips of our morning show interviews. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. These go to Facebook as well, all the places. Again, WHOW is there as well. And find it all at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way now.
WHOW.